Many people are curious about Alex Pereira's future after he recently called for a heavyweight super fight with Jon Jones. Many fans began to speculate as to what may happen if Tom Aspinall defeated Ciryl Gane at UFC 321 instead of Jones. That would also be a huge battle. However, the Brazilian has previously stated that he is only considering Jones at heavyweight, nobody else. Nevertheless, the potential matchups are intriguing. Pereira would struggle stylistically against Aspinall, who has a dangerous all-around game and skilled grappling that may put Pereira's ground defense to the test. However, things get considerably more exciting when you're up against Gane. Ciryl's primary position is striker, which fits Pereira's wheelhouse perfectly. In a recent national news interview, Gane stated that he felt like a totally different fighter now, more determined, self-assured, and certain that he will eventually win the uncontested title. If that occurs, a bout between Gane and Pereira, two of the UFC's most technically skilled strikers, might be highly captivating. Let's get started and listen to Gane's thoughts.
For this fight, I don't want to talk of the after the fight. I'm confident for this fight. I want this belt, and I do my best during the camp for that. But everybody knows my strength already. I can move very well. I can manage the distance very well. My striking is a high-level striking, and so I'm gonna manage this. I do this for me. Like the target is the belt, and I'm not focused on the social media, the people outside. I'm really focused on my family, my friend, my team, my goal, my target, and training. This is a different mindset.
Youssef Zalal is a newcomer to the featherweight division, which is already as packed as it has ever been. He's officially in the top 10 after putting together a strong winning streak, which gives an already stacked division even more fire. In a recent Good Guy, Bad Guy program on ESPN, Daniel Cormier made the decision to act as a matchmaker for the top 5 featherweights. He criticized Movsar Evloev for his lack of activity and stated that Zalal would be the ideal opponent for him. DC clarified that the unbeaten Ingush must continue to be active and that an intriguing test will be provided by Zalal's deft grappling. Here's the problem, though. Movsar's grappling skills have already been put to the ultimate test. He has defeated elite grapplers, including Diego Lopez and Aljamain Sterling, two combatants with a reputation for risky ground combat. The last time Evloev defeated Algo was in December 2024. Lone Murphy is currently the overwhelming favorite to win the upcoming title fight because he just defeated Aaron Pico via knockout and has an unblemished record. Let's examine DC's thorough analysis of this.
I actually did not put him on the list. And I think that is why he doesn't get a title shot, because people just aren't as interested as they should be in a guy that's won as many times as he's won. The title shot for me is Volk versus Lerone Murphy. Then Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez. It's so personal between those two that they could fight and people would pay attention because of the history, but it could also matter because a win could potentially make them the #1 contender. Here's the problem with Evloev. Because he's not as known, I would do Evloev versus Zalal. So then you say, well, you left out number 5, Aljamain Sterling. I would do Evloev versus Zalal because Zalal is a guy that is on that big run. If he beats Evloev, he really puts himself in the place. But if Evloev beats him again, let's just move him into a title fight, man. You can't deny a guy that's won that many times. What do I do with Aljo Chael? He sits as that backup fight.
The MMA community was stunned by a new perspective on the notorious altercation between Khamzat Chimaev and Khabib Nurmagomedov's cousin from years ago. A previously unclear part of the narrative was revealed to fans. The whole focus of this camera was on Khabib's response as the mayhem developed. All eyes and cameras were on Khamzat when he attacked Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov and the fight that broke out in the original film. However, this new perspective has Khabib ascending the cage, pausing in the middle, and gazing down at Khamzat from above. Even though he is only a few feet away, he hesitates, holding back out of respect and to prevent the situation from getting worse. Khabib understands exactly what's going on since he can see his cousin yelling obscenities at Khamzat when he briefly turns his head away. Realizing how close we were to witnessing Khabib himself enter the fray and join it just seconds away from complete chaos is insane. It's important to keep in mind that Nurmagomedov and Caucasians in general value loyalty, supporting and standing by friends during conflicts. As a result, we were on the verge of a full-fledged Khabib versus Khamzat conflict, just a few seconds away from anarchy. At UFC Vancouver, Chimaev is anticipated to take on either Nassourdine Maskarov or the victor of DeRuyter and Brendan Allen. Here, RDR analyzes the likelihood that he will next face the champion.
I tried to stay on this card because of the chance of fighting Khamzat after. That's one of the reasons I really wanted to stay on the Vancouver card, because I think Khamzat might want to fight before Ramadan, right? Ramadan is in February. So they talked about pushing the fight with Fluffy to a later date, but we weren't sure that he'd be ready on time. So I said, let's try and find a new opponent, and let's just keep working and show what I have, so that I have a chance to fight Khamzat in January, hopefully. It's got a lot more complicated, yeah. As you said, if I beat Fluffy, I think I'd have a good chance. But both Fluffy and Imavov fought Brendan, and both of them lost the first round. Brendan got very close in the last round to finishing Fluffy. He hurt Fluffy pretty bad, and none of them were able to put Brendan away. So what if I put him away?
Josh Thompson just shared some thoughts about Oliveira versus Gamrot tomorrow, stating that he believes Oliveira is being greatly underestimated. After his devastating knockout loss to Ilia Topuria a few months ago, there has been talk that Charles is returning far too soon. However, Thompson thinks Oliveira still has the ability to make an impression. In contrast, Gamrot is a fast-paced chain wrestling machine. Additionally, this battle is becoming a heavy, grappling conflict from a stylistic standpoint. Since both men enjoy picking up the tempo and maintaining commotion in the cage, viewers won't find this type of battle dull. Charles wants to bounce back from the Topuria defeat and has greater plans in the works. He may even call up Max Holloway for the BMF title, but first he must overcome a formidable obstacle. Arman Tsarukyan has already been defeated by Gamrot, therefore it won't just be another win if he defeats Oliveira as well. It would be a clear indication that he is a serious lightweight division contender. How do you feel about this altercation? Comment with your predictions, MMA fans.
This is that a lot of people are writing Charles Oliveira off. Let's not forget, on the ground, Arman Tsarukyan was defending submission after submission, and was able to finally get out of him and get himself to positions where he could survive the rest of the round. He had some great moments on the feet, Arman did. He had some great moments on the ground. He did some work. But Charles, to me, still has what it takes to beat guys like Gamrot. Gamrot just needs to get over that hump. This would be potentially him getting over that hump. But I don't know if he has all the tools to survive Charles Oliveira. So if I'm leaning towards one person, I'm leaning towards Charles. Is it too quick of a turnaround after his loss to Ilia Topuria? That's to be seen. We don't know. I think in this fight, Charles is the better striker. That's hands down. He's the better submission guy, hands down. His wrestling, obviously Gamrot is the better wrestler, but I look at all the other things that Gamrot brings to the table. Can he avoid submissions? He does get a little chinny.
Thank you for viewing. Please remember to subscribe to and like my channel.